Well, YouTubes and outtubes and me tubes and other tubes, the day has arrived. The final day of reckoning, the day of judgment, the day of love and all things good. All things good. BlackSpade Acoustics, as many of you know, I've received this large grant from the state of Minnesota and a private donor who matched their grant, who sometimes assists with arts patronage. And I am an artist. He sometimes assists. The money is there to improve my recording studio here at home, and many of you have already seen probably my video on the Neve preamplifier and compressor that I've already purchased with this money. And I have other equipment that I've brought in as well as a new microphone stand. I'll do a video on that later, as new microphone cabling from NLFX here locally in Bemidji. But the big granddaddy piece of equipment that it's all really about in the end is this microphone, the BlackSpade Acoustics 251. Now the 251, oh gosh, what a unit. In the history of the world, there have been many fine microphones made. Some of them have even been considered magic, where somehow or other they find parts and pieces from various manufacturers and different engineers. They'll put something together in the intention of building a flagship microphone, but never really knowing exactly what it's going to do when it's done. They put it together and it's just better than everything else. And it's hard to really know why. Something about the human ear. And if that particular factory got bombed during Second World War and their dies were destroyed, then those tubes are no longer created. And then when you put in a different tube, it's a different sound. It's not the same. When those transistors are no longer available because that business went out of business, and so you order them from somewhere else, turns out there's some pixie dust that just isn't there anymore. When certain engineers die and manufacturers go away, things change. And so over the course of our history in the world of electronics, there are some microphones that stand out heads and tails above all others. You've heard of great names like the Neumann U47, the Telefunken 251, you've got the C12, you've got the Sony 800 of a modern super mic. You've got the SM7 from Shure. That is a still manufactured modern super mic. These are mics that have been used in the best recordings in history and are still sought after today. But who can afford the real ones? Telefunken 251 today is a $30,000 piece of equipment because they only made them a couple of years. And they were amazing. And I've been using an emulator from Slate Digital to emulate the sound of a 251, a U47, a Sony 800, other Neumanns as well. And I keep coming back to the Elam 251. This is the sound that seems to work on my voice. So the world I searched, all the world, day and night, through rain and shine, thunderstorms, famine and war, and I continued the search of the interwebs without leaving my office, really. And I found it, BlackSpade Acoustics, out of Switzerland. It has just arrived. Oh my word. Paperwork. Yeah, stupid. Look at that. See now, look at the... Yeah, okay. BlackSpade is an audio company, and I don't know what they do, but I know they make microphones, and they make really good ones. And there's very little talked about in the United States about BlackSpade acoustic microphones. It's just not something that's much discussed here. They're more well known in Europe because they are a Swiss company. They build them by hand, each individual microphone when ordered. They have little microphone gremlins that probably speak German, and they come up and they do little gremlin-y things in the microphones, and I think there's pixie dust and there's elves involved. I'm not completely clear about the whole process, but they come out with these absolutely stunning sounding and looking microphones. And the attention to detail is absolutely superb. Look at this. I open this up. What do I find? There's an 1/8" gap between their packing here and the top of their box. So what did they do? They added this beautiful piece of... They even wrapped it in cellophane. Why did they wrap it? I'm great. That's awesome. I don't know why they did. That's cool. Okay. This is foam. This is solid stuff. This is not the cheap soft foam. This is the hard industrial foam. I might put this in the bottom of my screwdriver drawer in my old Snap-on toolkit. That's nice. Or, no, probably I'll use it to hold microphone. Okay. Now, I had opened this previously, and I shot a video of me opening it, and I left the air conditioner on in the studio. So it says, you know, I do with the air conditioner sound going down. It's just, that didn't work, so. Yeah. Okay, there's a lot of components here. Wow, look at that laser cutting out for the foam and the packaging. I suppose it had to come all the way from Switzerland, wow. I thought it was going to take a lot longer to get here, but FedEx shipped it to us from Switzerland, and FedEx proved that there was a part that I had to buy for the mic, or didn't have to, but Kaz over at BlackSpade said, if you want the mic to sound truly the best it can sound, head on down to this guy in Arizona and buy this vacuum tube from him that was built in the 1950s by General Electric. It's like a magic vacuum tube. This guy apparently lives his life going around and gathering old, unused, new, old stock vacuum tubes, and he tests them and burns them in for hours at a time. And I don't know, he's probably got little googly glasses and probably wears a leather hat, and he's got a kind of an apocalyptic thing going on. I'm sure. I've not met him, but why wouldn't he? I mean, obviously. And so I bought a tube from him under Kaz's instructions. Apparently these guys have a good working relationship. He shipped it from Arizona to Switzerland, and it took like 8 weeks because the U.S. Postal Service lost it at sea, and one of the co-pilots had to get into a life raft, and they took my tube, and then they paddled over to Brussels, I guess, was the thing. And it's a long story. There was the whole tour of Amsterdam that was very naughty, hush-hush. We don't talk about that. But it did arrive after 8 weeks in BlackSpade Acoustics laboratory, and they went ahead and they installed it in the microphone. So I thought when they shipped it back, it was going to be like, you know, one-legged guy on a boogie board hoping for fair winds. But it wasn't, because when it was going out, it was the U.S. Postal Service. Coming back, it was FedEx, which proves that if you want something done right, don't give it to the government. That's bad. Standard electrical cable. This is the kind of thing that in the U.S. you would use on any American PC, personal computer. I've got a zillion of these. That's really cool that they made it such a standardly accessible power cable. It's heavy, it's thick. This is a good one. This is better than most of them that come on my PCs. I love it. Okay. What else we got going on here? Oh, yeah. Okay. This is a sock. Well, it's not a sock. It's a velvet bag. The beauty of this, and I'll show you this slips over the mic itself. And the fact that they added this really kind of, I don't know why it's as big a deal to me as it is, but it is. Because these high-end mics, one of the deaths that they die over the course of many years is they get dust on the capsule that come through the basket. I smoke a cigar in here once in a while. It's my recording studio. If I want to smoke a cigar, well, then I'm going to smoke a cigar. Once in a while, I smoke a pipe. Don't do it in here a ton, but enough that these high-end electronics, I should not do that. This will not save me from my pipe smoke, but it will save me from dust. And so as this is mounted, if I can pop this over it between uses, that will actually go a long ways towards saving the capsule itself from dust. And it's such a beautiful look at that. My gosh. Okay, so there's that. I love that. It's the cable. Now this, look at that beautiful thing. It was neater when I opened it the first time and shot the first video to show you all this and left the air on. Look at that. All right. Is it silver? No, it's nickel. Do you know why it's nickel? It's nickel because my microphone is way cooler than your microphone. That's why it's nickel. Yes, indeed. Look at that. It's the old-fashioned setup, but it's just gorgeous. The cabling on this is really supple. This is octave tube high flex. It is definitely high flex. 14 millimeter cable. German. It is a German cable. I guess that makes sense. So now this is a locking nut. So what will happen is this will actually screw into the bottom of the mic, which I will do in a minute. I will show you that. But on the other end, this goes to the power supply. It has the spring because, of course, as most of you know, this is the area where microphone cables burn out the quickest because of all the bendy going on there. And so you have these retention springs that really help for that. It has a very similar locking nut to the other side. Oh, look at that. And that is solid matte black, which matches the mic, which matches the power supply, which matches the cover. Because my microphone is frickin' cool and yours... Look at that. Okay, I'm gonna get to the microphone. Oh my. Okay. Look at this. This is the power supply. I don't know why we need a power supply, but we have one, and it's just super cool because it's just jet black. It's matte and it's armored and things, and I could shoot at it and run it over the tank and. Probably, I don't know. Wow, look at that thing. This is the same build quality, though, that I got in my Rupert Neve. The preamp compressor combo was the same build quality. They're outrageously heavy for whatever in the world is in this silly thing. And look at that, it's just simple, too. Here's the power connector for it. A light that I presume says, I'm working. And then, my favorite part, it's got the... It does a little clicky. Oh, power supply go on, power supply go off, power supply go on, power supply go off. And that is solid. That is, I don't know, I could do that all day. I have no idea why that is so satisfying. Wow, that's satisfying. Okay, back of the power supply. Here, of course, the main cable input, and here, of course, is the XLR microphone output. That is a standard microphone output for a standard cable that would actually run into my audio-digital converter, which would then send it into my computer, which goes into my DAW. No, boring stuff. But this is the actual input that comes in from this cable. It plugs right in there, and then it screws in. Those are screws. Those are threads on that bad boy. Wow, that sucker's solid and finely machined. That is not sloppy. That is tight. Gosh, that's something. Okay, here's the magic switch. The magic switch of selection. Now, in the magic switch of selection, guys, you didn't mark it. You didn't mark it Omni and Cardioid. Why didn't you mark it? Well, maybe you just assume I'm not stupid and I'll know the difference. I don't know. Okay, anyway, here's the thing. This microphone is either cardioid, that's what I can put it in, I presume that's cardioid, or I can have it in omnidirectional, so it listens to an entire room. Now, I could have had it also in figure of 8, which I wanted. I could have had it in an infinite connection between cardioid, possibly supercardioid, all the way through figure of 8, all the way through omnidirectional. I probably could have done that too. Kaz offered. I asked him if I could do that. He said, yeah, absolutely. And he wasn't going to upcharge me. It was kind of a standard charge for already the package of purchasing the microphone. I get the feeling that when you buy from them, you buy a certain amount of customization that's just packaged into the price. And it was pretty cool. So this switches Omni, and he told me that if I got the whole package of the whole sweeping dial, it would affect the sound. He said, do you want the convenience or do you want the sound? Well, I want the sound. Mic itself. Oh yeah, baby. Matte black. Oh, silver nickel colored furniture. Even the logo's sexier than the one on your mic. It is. Just admit it. look at this bad boy. Right here. Look at that. Okay, so the mic itself pops right on in there. Make a liar out of me. There it goes. And then we lock that puppy down. Oh yeah, there we are. That's finely machined threads. Matte black barrel finish. Oh yes it is. Look at that nickel all the way up and down. Then we take the sock. Between microphone sessions of making incredible, awesome music that's better than stuff they make in your studio, because I have one of these and you don't. So, now, no masculine jokes, gentlemen. We're a good channel. So, there we are. This is it. The BlackSpade Acoustic Telefunken 251 Classic. Custom tube. Custom made. Better than any mic I've ever owned. This will be my new flagship mic. Exclusively designed for my voice, for my purposes. Tuned, hand-tuned to me. Not to you. To me. If you'd like to record in my studio, I have something we can use. You should come and record in my studio with me. So, this was the final piece of the puzzle, and I wanted to make this video to talk about it. I'll do audio videos on it later and things like that. The guys over at BlackSpade Acoustics treated me like a king. They were generous, they were kind. They put up with my ignorance about many things and walked me through the process very professionally. I don't know why these aren't better advertised here in the United States. I don't understand that. They are cheaper than all the competing mics of similar quality or even slightly less quality than this mic. This was $3,000, where in the US getting a mic at this level would have cost me at least $5,000. So I'm not sure why, but the European studios tell me that these are just absolutely every bit as fabulous as I think they are. I haven't turned it on yet, but I'm pretty pumped about it, and I thought I'd share it with you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta go play with my new powerhouse.